What's up, everybody?
God bless you.
Thank you, Mark. I asked Mark to do that on cue. I appreciate that.
Thanks for setting the standard early. That's good.
Welcome.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. It's good to have the whole crew back here. I'm sure everyone's tuning in. It's exciting to see some of you guys that they've missed, and rumors were about that you had been terminated. Today, everyone, we're going to talk about target date fund glide paths and how much there's too much fixed income. I'm kidding. We're not going to do that again.
Thank God.
But I am going to start with a poem because it's been a while. Mark, tell me how excited you are for my poem.
Zero.
I'll tell you at the end.
Zero excited. All right. Chad, don't take offense to this accent. Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the show. Did you know that Roby's sister married his bro? No. I'm sorry. That was a lie. But Chad does wear Wranglers in the middle of July. Here we are in front of our dirty RV, not making meth, but pouring Malort in our sweet tea. Justin, the master of the drunk dial, even though it always ends in poor, sad denial. Let's giddy up, people, because this new look is rad. We got flamingos, dirty chairs, and the vibe is Breaking Bad. Hobbies like hunting and fishing and baling hay. It's Retireholics, motherfuckers. Yippee-ki-yay!
Well done, JD. You've been holding on to that one for a while.
All right, let's spin the wheel of ice and get this bitch started off right.
Shit.
The wheel of ice, the wheel of ice.
Of course it is.
You already ready.
Well, perfect timing. Oh,
Come on.
shit.
Come on. Yeah. Open up that Woodford.
I got to open up the Woodford. I got to crack the Smirnoff. I'm going to put it all in a Robe Guy mug. And it's great timing because, Justin, it's your time to intro our guest. So it's been a long time. Take it away, Italiano.
This bow tie wearing, bourbon sipping son of a gun is a fellow third party administrator who might just be as nerdy as Mr. Nuggets sitting right there. He works for one half of the Shamanda Show. And the best part about him is that we'll all get a chance to talk today. Just like Robe Guy, he and his wife are high school sweethearts who've been together since 1978. Bravo. Congrats.
Thank you.
You wouldn't guess this by looking at him, but this man loves to hunt. Even more impressive, his weapon of choice is a crossbow. Ladies and gents, the senior manager of Pinnacle Plan Design, Bill Presson.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I sometimes feel like I work for both halves of the Shamanda Show. Sometimes put in requests, so we'll see if I get any feedback on that.
I'm going to put this to the side just a second. Hold on there, everybody. I promise to drink it here. Bill, we're going to play some games today. We're going to play Acrosend. That starts now. If you say any initialism or acronym, you must drink from your drink because everybody, Bill's just sipping on some bourbon. So it'll be doubling as his sipper and his penalty. That works.
Yep,
that works.
Yep, so not great.
We'll be playing Chat Bar Champion. Last week's winner was the first ever Chat Bar Champion to actually not really chat at all during the show. It was our guest sister. And Kathy, we have delivered the following to your home from Corner Bakery that should be there soon. And they all meet your requirements of low carb, no red meat, veggies and fruit heavy, and no people. She will be the last one to give me fucking personal requests on dietary restrictions. This is not happening anymore.
I like Kathy.
We are not setting a trend. We've got some apple banana overnight oats coming your way, a little fresh berry and yogurt parfait bowl, an extra large harvest salad, mixed greens, grilled chicken, blue cheese, walnuts, apple, dried cranberries, balsamic vinaigrette. A fresh, I did that one, chicken noodle soup bowl, a bottled water, boring. And to wash it all down, another extra large spinach salad with, yes, you guessed it, spinach, locally sourced goat cheese, not really locally sourced, but I threw that in there for effect. Strawberries, grapes, oranges, dried cranberries, green onion, and strawberry vinaigrette. Mark, total calories, 79. I don't know. No, yeah, something like that. So there you go. There you go. Beer of the episode. Today's beer of the episode,
Chad, I can't hit the button, but you got one.
is from
Still
Topa
under
Topa-
debate.
From Topa Topa Brewing Company. It's called Level Line Pale Ale. And let's give it a try. I don't know.
What is it?
Does it taste
Level
like most
Line
other pale ale?
from Topa Topa Brewing. Brandon has an image. He just can't find it. Brandon's sober this month and he works a lot less efficiently. Yeah, I'll give it 4 out of 5 robes. It's pretty good for a pale ale. Pretty good. Let's see. I got to drink this thing. So, Chad, can you just keep the show going before I got a headline?
You didn't even tell us what topics you wanted to
We're not on topics
Hey,
yet.
When
Bill,
do we ever know what topic?
Isn't it headlines?
Bill, there's a
yeah.
big headline that traveled on social today, which is you found your way out of flying to Vegas and that someone is going on your behalf now.
Yeah.
And she's ecstatic.
Correct.
I got text messages late last night that she can't wait to hang out in Vegas. What's the D's there? Why are you pulling out?
Bad question,
The
Chad. Bad question.
short story is my wife is ill. And
Oh shit.
Shit.
yeah, two 911
Fucking Chad.
Wow, Chad.
ER trips in the last 6 days, and
Oh
just
man, Bill, I'm
wasn't.
sorry.
Hear that.
I appreciate it. Just wasn't safe to travel, and
Yeah.
trying to get her better so I can go to Aspen a week. Hated to do it, but I just said Aspen.
Us
You
too.
said it again.
You can't say it again.
I'm sorry for such a horrendous question. I thought it would be
It's all right.
funny with Amanda pinging you on social. Shame on her then.
Chad,
for making that so public.
every time you try to be funny, you fuck it up.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Mark. That means so much coming from you.
It did make it better though, because I was telling Mr. Carlson beforehand, because I assume I can't use your initials.
No, you can.
No, you can.
Oh, okay. But anyway, I was telling him beforehand that was the first time I'd ever had to pull out of a speaking or facilitating or doing anything at a conference, and I hated it. But she, jumped in. It's a quick trip for her to fly up from Tucson. She's going to fly out Monday morning and leave Tuesday evening, and so it worked out pretty good. I gave her all my notes, and I think she'll do a pretty good job. My guess is she won't do anything that I actually have in the notes.
I was going to
she'll
say,
make it all up.
if you
do something
had
different.
if you have bullet points, she's just going to make it an essay. So you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly they supposedly published what I was going to facilitate the conversation. I don't know if they did or not, but I gave her what I put together, and we'll see if she did it. So
Nice.
And the only bad news, or the bigger bad news for us in all this, is that we have to deal with Amanda in Vegas. But okay, let's do headlines. Ba-doop, boop, boop, ba-doop, boop, 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 boop. Ba-doop, boop, 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 boop. Headlines. Don't worry, Brandon.
JD.
Don't worry, Brandon. I got you covered, buddy. Got
Can
you
you
covered.
start? No, there it goes. Preview.
First of all, just real quickly, the Dow gained about 830 points today, snuck its way back over 30K. So yeah, whatever. I don't know. Is it sustainable? We'll have to ask Robe Guy at a later date. First headline, 3 and 4 participants don't know what those 3 letters mean. Mr. Shlomo Benartzi wants to help. You can pretty much understand what this article says. They reached out to a bunch of regular folk and asked them, hey, what is, I'll drink for it. What does ESG mean, since I can't spell the answer? And the great majority of them did not know. They gave different answers, but not the correct one. Bill, does this surprise you? And are you happy to see Mr. Bernartzi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, rush to the help here?
Well, I think he's a brilliant person. I think he's now jumping into this and a little misguided on it. I think it's much ado about nothing. I think it's trying to force regular markets into areas that they shouldn't be. But to think nobody knew about it, of course, regular people don't know about it.
Right.
Regular people don't give a shit about it.
Thank you.
And never will. So
Never will.
Insane. Never will.
Yes, I love you for that. Like that when I read this, that was exactly my response was, why, what? Like of course this is a thing. By the way, regular participants, they also don't know what small cap value means or what it is to be in the technology sector or diverse or emerging markets, developing market. Like they don't know any of these things. And
Right.
I honestly don't think they need to. Let me ask you this, Mark, if you polled 10 financial advisors, retirement plan advisors, how many of them would know what these 3 letters stand for?
I was gonna say I would like to know what the actual question is. Like, is it just simply what the letters stand for, or is it like,
Yeah, it was.
what is it? What is the all-encompassing ideology of this? Right. I'll say this now, maybe a little different and more geographical. I'll be honest, right? Maybe no offense, Chad. Maybe the center of the country doesn't think too much of this.
Mark, 60% of the Missouri population is Edward Jones. So they're good. They know it.
I wasn't talking about the advisors. dude.
Right, the people.
I'm talking about the people. That's what I'm
No, he
saying.
means they're all
Population
named.
is
They're all
Edward
named
Jones.
Edward Jones. Every one of them.
60% of the people in Missouri are Edward Jones brokers? I thought they're like
Yep.
farmers and shit.
Oh, I just thought you meant they were named Edward Jones, so they all had the same mom and dad.
There's like
Okay,
9
got
Edward
it.
Jones offices in every
Yeah.
town, and there's only 800 people in each town.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
To your point, Mark, I think the concept.
California has a little different viewpoint. I think people are asking for it. It's oddly enough, I've probably had a conversation about this far more than I have recently than I ever have.
And you mean
advisors-
participants are asking for it?
Not participants,
Okay.
the actual decision makers.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well,
at the
yeah,
company.
they're asking because it wasn't a thing 3 months ago. I mean, it's a bunch of made up stuff, and the people
Wow.
are pushing it and wasting everybody's time and money.
I love this.
What is made up, Bill?
The issue is that what they're trying to do is use the money in the retirement plans to force what they want to have happen in the world instead of trying to
Good
make
point.
more money for the retirement plan participants.
Yeah.
The plans should not. What did I say something?
No, JD typed it out in the chat bar.
I drank
had
for
to
it. I
call him
drank
out.
for it.
Oh,
You
okay.
can bring it up, but I drank for it.
I just feel like the retirement plan funds, for the most part, should be. It's not going to sound right, but
you're making the
but should be
classic.
amoral.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be making a lot of moral decisions. Now, if it's a sole proprietor and that person wants to invest in a certain way, I mean, as a sole owner, it's just his plan. Or her plan. I've got no problem with that. But pension fund managers should not be making their moral decisions based on how they invest participants' money.
But is it pension fund managers or plan sponsors making a moral decision or deciding based upon what their plan participants would like to invest in, that these should be made available in the core menu? I've yet to see, and I hope I never do see, an entire core menu full of environmentally social governance funds.
You know what I think it
has
is?
a blend
The
of them,
participants
and I
actually
think that that's
understand what that
perfectly
is
okay.
and actually care
They
about that
do, though,
stuff.
in the right places.
Pay
They
attention
do.
to it.
My time
It's a
in
small
San
percentage.
Francisco, almost every business that asked for it in San Francisco, the employees were calling for it.
Fair enough.
Because they wanted it, and they were putting that presence. They were making that
They
presence
wanted
known.
it because they wanted to talk about it at the cocktail parties.
You're probably right. Or they wanted to feel like they were
This is
doing something
great.
good, Bill. There's nothing wrong with that. If they want to do something with their money that they feel good about, why donate to your church? Why donate to other not? You want to do something good with your money. That's what they think they're doing.
Which is fine. I love that you guys took it this far. This is off to a great start, this show. Originally, I was just going to talk about, do the participants need to know? We've gone straight into this subject, which is fine. And I'm going to jump on Bill's and his peers bandwagon, the people that share his thoughts. Part of me does think when I see a headline like this, and Shlomo's getting involved with some other company, I think it is Voya or someone is, because Shlomo doesn't do that. He says it wants to help. He doesn't do it for free. Like they pay him to do this shit. And part of the pessimist in me thinks, well, the industry loves a new shiny mousetrap. And so if we can find something that attracts people, and I'm going to actually, I have another headline today that's talking about a little bit about index or passive investing, outdoing actively managed, and how defined contribution investment only people are getting beaten down by it. So wouldn't it be nice if you're a fund family, if you could come up with a new sector that people are attracted to? And if you're telling me that 75% of participants don't get it, what if we got Shlomo to help us figure out how to spread the word better? Like there's some evil empire shit happening here too.
Right. Oh yeah, get in early and then promote the heck out of it.
Well,
two very different things, JD, but what you just stated could be an exact conversation about cryptocurrency in 401k. Record keepers and
let's not
investment
go
firms
down this path.
looking to use a
Lot
new
more
silver and bring it in. I know I'm not saying the investment side of it is the same. I'm just saying that the shiny new thing that they want to sell and find a way to get it in their product offering.
Right.
Let's keep this going. Since we're on conspiracy theories, I'm pretty sure this is not an acronym, and I don't even know how to pronounce it. Aeon, the Aeon pooled employer plan hits 1 billion in plan assets.
Aeon is not an acronym, I don't think.
No,
it's just
I think it's a foreign term.
Name of a consulting company. Yeah.
So the article tells you what you're reading there is that this pooled employer plan has reached 1 billion in assets since January of 2021 when it came out. And to give you some stats on it, they claim success because they've got 30,000 participants and $1 billion, obviously, and 40 plus employers. So I did the math. If it was 40 and 1 billion, you're talking about, and someone check my math out there, but 750 employees on average and $25 million plans. I'm glad. Do you think the guys in the government, the guys and girls in government that created this legislation to help the coverage gap are happy about Aeon's success in the $25 million plan space? Like that's one point I get a little upset with. Secondly, I got a lot of private messages about this saying, look, JD, PEPs are succeeding. Oh shit, you're right. Sorry. Please, out there, as a public service announcement, don't come to me with companies that already sell business and their own internal decision is to switch that business from standalone to pooled employer, because that's just a left pocket, right pocket thing. What I mean is they were going to sell those plans anyway. And Aeon is a massive company. So the fact that they've sold 40 plans in the last 2 years that they could have just as well sold in another version, and they decided to throw into a pooled employer plan because that helps them for a variety of things, not to mention control of the clients. Don't come to me with that. You need to come to me and say, look, independent advisors all over the country, smart plan sponsors are choosing pooled employer plans, and we're seeing this big needle move. This does not tell me that. This just tells me that this big company decided to start a pooled employer plan and has gotten some business over the last 22 months. Bill, do I sound crazy saying that? And please, if I do, say so.
No, I doubt that the majority of it is generating any new business. It may, like you said, it's moving from one pocket to another. I'm exhausted in the one thing that exhausts me about the world I live in is constantly feeling like all we're doing is trading plans around instead of starting new plans. And I love starting new plans, owner only plans or 3-person plans or 10-person plans or whatever. I love doing that because we can't continue to survive just trading plans around. Now that has to happen because we're all going to screw up a plan from time to time. There's not much you can do about it. There are some vendors out there that screw up more than others, and we love taking plans from them. If they start up a bunch of new ones and then we can get them after they screw them up, that's fantastic, but we've got to start new plans. And I seriously doubt that any of those pooled employer plans are new plans. They were moved from somewhere else.
Of course they're not. I mean, that they don't even play in that space. So
Right.
Daniela chimed in. I don't know if she has facts, but I do defend the company that Daniela is working for now, and that they clearly have a business model to go after that coverage gap and go after startups and small plans. But no, this is just, she said in the chat bar, they're repapering some of their own existing clients. A lot of people come to me with the success that Paychex has had, and it's the same scenario. It's like, look, they would have sold those plans anyways. They're just and those clients would have bought whatever they sold them. So they decided to sell them a pooled employer plan for their own selfish reasons. And you cannot call that PEP success. One other thing I'd like everyone to be aware of, like, be a smart consumer.
You got to drink again.
Yeah, you do have to drink again. JD,
You picked a very poor topic to talk about during this.
I think they're all like this, Bill, but okay. be a smart consumer. Understand where this news is coming from. This company put this press release out to, and I got nothing against Aeon, but this is just their press release. And it goes out to 401k specialists. It goes out to plan sponsor. It goes out to every fucking magazine and thing that's out there. Because if you go read it all, it's the same damn words. And it explains that they're doing, it's their own self-promotion to say, look at us. We're succeeding with PEPs, is trying to get their own business. My point is, almost every time you see positive news about pooled employer plans, it's coming from whom?
The people selling it.
The people who sell it. And so can't we look for some independent, neutral fucking feedback on this instead of the motherfuckers that are selling it, telling us how well it's going?
But who would do that? Who would be the independent entity or person that could actually gather that data and report on what it means?
Sure. There's all kinds of entities that could let us know. And I think we're going to see some of those statistics down the line. You know, they're going to let us know what it really, really looks like. I haven't been able to pay attention to the chat bar. I gotta move that over here. Okay, we'll move on from this. Or wait, sorry. One last quick, and we won't dive in it deep. But I would like Bill, Chad, Justin, Mark, if I said the name Aquiline, I don't know if I'm getting that right. Aquilin, Aquiline. Does that ring a bell with any of you?
No.
I thought it was like a type of nose.
Good. Aquiline, I'm wondering if any in the chat bar knows. Aquiline, I'm sure they do, is a private equity firm that is involved in, let me read for you what they do. They provide private capital and innovative leaders to innovative leaders in financial services and technology. They have investment and ownership in record keepers, wellness solutions, payroll providers, and they were involved in a census, in the sale of a census. They're involved in the firm Alight, I believe, that bought the spinoff defined contribution stuff from Aeon. Look them up, check out their portfolio, and understand that they're involved with a lot of these different companies. And I'm not saying this is bad, by the way. We live in a capitalist society, and I love that. But there's clearly a bigger play going on with this private equity firm that's got their money invested in these companies. And do you think they would be a fan of a pooled employer plan? And I'm reaching here. But were the companies they own, they could then mix in the other companies they own, the payroll providers, the 338s, the this and that, and they stand back as a private equity firm that's really just maybe doesn't wholly own any of them, or maybe some of them.
Right.
They're
just making introductions.
Those boardrooms, those wood paneled conference room boardrooms where this shit's getting discussed and the buy and sell of these companies. It's fucking some gnarly shit, bro. The color in that wood is dark. So check it out. Maybe more on that later as I start to learn more about it. You know me, I love a good conspiracy. Thanks, Hackler.
Right.
Next one. Defined contribution investment assets take a big hit and a bid hit.
Big hit. A bid hit.
Mark. I had to sound a Smirnoff with bourbon in it. In the first 6 months of 2022, they interviewed, I want to say, like less than 30 mutual fund companies, defined contribution investment only specific stuff here. And they had a drop of 17% in the first 6 months of 2022. Half of those firms, by the way, had net redemptions during that time period, meaning they lost more money than they brought in the first 6 months of 2022. The exception was some of the large defined contribution investment only firms that had leading target date funds, big time target date funds that actually had net growth versus those redemptions. Reasons for the drop. Chad's talking to someone. Bill, why do you think DCI?
Well, one of the main reasons is the market it crashed.
Ding, ding, ding.
I mean, come on.
Survey says number one answer. Well done. Continue on. Explain this to everyone listening in.
If anybody looked at their own account, and I looked at mine as infrequently as possible, just watching it go down over the first 6 months of the year and even into the third quarter. It's been a horrible return. Now you mentioned that the Dow jumped up again today, which I try to avoid looking at, so that's good news. But my guess is that was the main reason.
It was.
I could be, yeah. But you said that redemptions. Because that's not value of assets. Redemptions are actually assets leaving.
So Bill, to back you up, when markets go down, people's money leaves. Typically, what do mutual?
You're talking about they're going to cash or something?
Yeah, right. They go to cash. They go to stable value. Yeah.
Okay.
And especially if you're a defined contribution investment only person, your focus tends to be on funds that are equity heavy, right? And so your business is getting hurt by a falling market. You nailed it.
Right.
that's exactly.
Well, when you said that, I was thinking about redemptions, meaning money out of the plan. You're just talking about money out of those funds.
Both. So
other funds, though.
Yeah, both things. Remember, their sales were down 17%. The reason why their sales are down is because markets are down and people don't want to buy what they're selling, right?
Right.
And then secondly, the redemptions, same thing, people are getting out, they're going to cash or there's a second reason. So that's the number one answer. Any guess on what another reason might be?
I was yelling at the kids.
Oh.
So I don't exactly, but my guess just based upon the end of the topic that I was listening to there would be people are fearful of their cash flow. So they're pulling back on deferrals.
No, that wasn't brought up, but that I'm sure that doesn't sound inaccurate. I'm sure that could be a thing. That wasn't part of this article. The second one was, and again, I'm looking at what the struggles that defined contribution investment only people are having. Like, you guys know a lot of these people. I'm sure Bill does too. They're struggling to meet their goals in a lot of situations. And another big answer is an obvious one. I'm sure the chat bar has already said it, but it's the passive. It's the passive trend, right? So this index fund revolution that's happening is starting to hurt the defined contribution investment only companies. Do you know what their answer is? I'll quit with the whole
the 40-year-old index revolution. It started in the 80s.
Come on, Bill. It's way gnarlier now than it's been.
Okay.
No, you don't think it is?
It's probably coming back around, but when I started in this business in the mid 80s, and then 401k plans started, in the early 90s. That index funds were all the rage. It was Vanguard, the advisor that I worked with, Greg Caston in Lexington. That's all he used was Vanguard funds, a couple of T. Rowe Price, but that's all we did was index funds for most of the 90s. So it's not a new thing. It's just coming back around.
I can't imagine, Chad, that core menus look the same today that they looked 15 years ago.
I think they do. They had not in share class. No, it's a
different world.
Fair enough.
World, but
share class aside,
but I've always seen a mix of passive and active inside core menus, and it's been almost 15 years for me. Like, it's always been the same way.
People starting to live a little bit more side to side or side by side in that, but when again in the 90s when 401k plans really started to take off, you were in one camp or the other. I mean, you were all active or you were all index, and there was not a lot of
That's because
crossover
there
at
was
that time.
at that time, Bill, tell me, I wasn't here, but the index options at that point were Vanguard, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Now
And-
you've
and-
got
and-
DFA and BlackRock and all these other dang
Sure.
conventional. You got all these other options out there that are also passive solutions.
Correct. Yeah. A lot of people jumped on the bandwagon and understand that. And obviously there's a lot of pushback.
Competition in an index fund game isn't no win deal. Like, I don't know even how that works, but
I have another
it's very
guess,
difficult, but part of it too is pushback with a lot of the fee pressure. That despite the fact that I think the DOL was way out of bounds in a lot of what they did, there was some good with what they did in
talking
pushing
402,
some of the
405.
advisors out. Well, I'm just talking about with pushing advisors to have to decide, are you going to be a broker? Or are you going to be a fiduciary?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think you guys are
And
wrong.
with the fee transparency too. So I thought that was very good because we're still not where we need to be on transparency, but we're a lot closer than we were 15, 20 years ago.
You're right. Chad, you're right. Ed, he nailed it.
So now that I know the actual question, yes, that's what I would have said, is that the majority of the assets are flowing into target date funds, and not every defined contribution investment only solution out there has a target date suite, and many of them aren't. Some of the ones that are out there are not good. So I think a lot of the flows are going into a few fund families, and it's making it difficult for
that is a narrative that you'll take away from this article. And it's everything you just said was correct. Thanks, Ed. Is that the ones that have good target dates are succeeding and doing just fine. Others are struggling. But I do think you guys are missing the mark. I think the industry has trended towards low fees. And I think advisors have whether they wanted to or as a gun to their head, they've really moved to this kind of Vanguard index passive kind of thing more than we've seen before. And I'll back it up, not with just my drunk surfer thoughts, but they interviewed these companies, and 70% of the defined contribution investment only surveyed said that lowering fees and expenses was a top priority for them because of the passive wave. And so they are clearly feeling the pressure. So it's nice for y'all to sit here and say times are the same, but if you work at those companies, you're feeling this pressure. Here's the interesting thing.
Sure.
Here's the interesting thing. Do you know what their solution is? And it's not to create their own index funds, although many of them have their own. The solution is collective investment trusts.
Yeah, I was just going to say some sort of collective investment trust or some modeled portfolio that they're creating.
So what do you think about that, Bill? So, okay, how do I compete? I'm not going to call collective investment trust the new environmentally friendly social governance fund. I don't think it's a shiny mousetrap. It's a different thing, and it has lower costs for a reason. And by the way, I'm kind of all for it. Like, it seems like it can replace a mutual fund, but it's just their way to like come to the market with something a little cheaper, right? So they're all creating new.
Right.
More than half of them are launching new collective investment trusts as we speak.
I think collective investment trusts are going to always face an uphill battle because of the lack of publicity and access to information. You know, back in the olden days when people were invested in funds, they would get the Wall Street Journal every day and pre-internet, and they would look up the prices every day. And it's easier now, but it's still more difficult.
Come on, Bill. You don't really believe this. That's a boomer bow tie thing to say. They're gonna have tickers. You're gonna go online. They're gonna act and walk and talk and quack just like a mutual fund.
Well, we'll see. They haven't done it to date, and collective investment trusts have been around for a long time. Part of the issue is who is going to be the manager, the investment manager of the collective investment trust? Who is the fiduciary responsible for that collective investment trust? And are they going to be able to pull the trigger in firing that investment manager that supposedly helped them set this up and make all the investment decisions? And they've been modeling.
Are you making the argument? I love that what you just said. I've never even thought about that. are you making the argument for the value of a mutual fund over a collective investment trust right there, sort of, kind of?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
cool.
it's much more independent.
Very cool.
Because
Very
you're going to
cool.
have situations like you do with mutual funds where you've got a closed fund. Are you going to have a closed collective investment trust? What's going to be the standards as to when you're going to do that?
Well said.
When it can be profitable and when it can't be, and who's going to pull that trigger and trade out the collective investment trust for whatever the replacement fund is going to be.
Good job.
It's going to be a very difficult decision.
I like that. I didn't see that. And so I appreciate you opening my eyes to that. That's a new take, and that sounds very logical to me.
Well,
So
one thing I would like to comment on that's related to this, and also to what Jim was talking about, we flashed the question earlier about revenue sharing. If nothing else would come out of this new push to index funds, then complete elimination of revenue sharing, I would be completely happy with that. I can't stand revenue sharing in mutual funds and having to deal with it. It's a bunch of crap.
Push to passive, because you can have an index fund that has revenue sharing, but a push to
push to
institutional,
institutional level share class. I don't care if it's actively
but when
managed,
there's distribution efforts, there will always be some sort of kickbacks.
Not always,
because people in every line of business, JD, it's a sales and marketing tool. If there's distribution to be done, they're going to try to find a way to pay people.
Yeah.
But why are they paying third-party administrators?
You're talking.
Why are we getting a set transfer accounting fee?
No third-party administrators getting a revenue share from a mutual fund family. We're getting it from the record keepers, and the record keepers are doing that because we're distribution. Right. I bring our record keepers a shit ton of business every year.
And Bill, you can
mutual relationship.
Revenue sharing to third-party administrator, to Chad's point, is totally different, because you could have an institutional index funds through everything with no juice, and you can still have revenue share to a third-party administrator. So those two things are separate. And I will say, so just so you know, you can still get yourself a nice S&P 500 index for 1% if you want to these days. Like, those two things don't match up. Yes, I'll drink for that.
Bill, to your point though, I'm assuming this still exists, but there were a couple of broker dealers out there that would get kickbacks from the mutual fund families for the number of positions they held inside the mutual fund. So they would go to a client that had 100 participants and say, if you put these six investments in, we've got 100 positions, and we do it as a model portfolio, that we're going to get enough revenue share to have no cost for this plan, because the mutual funds were kicking back per participant per position.
But that's the point, Chad. It's not that there's no cost. It's that the employer's not writing the check.
Well, in that scenario, though, this was a tricking of the system, because they were still using institutionalized mutual funds in this platform. It was just that the broker dealer and these specific record keepers were leveraging the agreement that the mutual fund families had signed up on, not thinking that they would create model portfolios and get
I understand.
7 or 8 positions in one.
Per participant revenue sharing. I've seen that. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and most institutions are getting away from that. But it's still not a no cost. I mean, so if the employer said, I don't want that money to come out of the fund. Is part of the expense ratio if we don't use that. Can you replace it back into the fund at all?
In the ones that I was seeing, larger plans, lots of participants, they would come back and say, there's no asset-based charge. Advisors charging 25 basis points direct, whatever it may be. And then the investment cost is all there was. So participants were in there at 14 basis points.
So this revenue sharing that they're paying, it's included as part of the operating expense.
As part of the investment expense.
Okay, so would Fred Reich say that is an asset of the plan or not?
I think he would say yes.
Wait. Do you guys want me to text him right now? Because I can.
Sure. I'm not agreeing with it, Bill. I'm on your side saying that to me this was dirty, and I was refusing.
I used to argue with him a lot, and that if not taking that money doesn't add assets back to the plan, then how can that be an asset of the plan?
It shouldn't be assets back to the plan. It's essentially covering the cost of the record keeper is the way
Alright.
in which it worked out.
So what
You
you're
guys
saying
are-
is they're paying it out of the general assets of the institution of the record keeper and not
Yeah.
technically out of
Revenue
the
share
operating
from the
expense.
mutual
You
fund
guys
family.
you guys
back
are
to
not going to
record keeper.
solve the world's problems right now. Bill,
Sorry, JD.
we in theory we totally agree with you anyways, your original statement. I too wish I could wave a magic wand and all third-party administrator revenue share would go away. I think that would be phenomenal. It puts us all on a
Agree with
nice
that.
even ground. Everyone understands it. Like I totally agree with that. But I
Right.
also do know that that topic is very confusing for a variety of reasons because a lot of people treat it differently. A lot of people do different things. And I don't know if that magic wand's ever going to be waved, by the way, because record keepers will continue. I'm drunk slurring tonight. Record keepers will continue to try to incentivize people to do business with them and put it under the shield of, administrative support and help. Let's play a game. It's the totally original, never copied, coolest game on the planet, the Nope or Dope game.
I don't think you ever played this with Shamanda because I don't recall seeing this game.
Nope, we did not.
Nope, it's totally new and original.
Please don't use the word Shamanda. It makes me break out in hives. Okay, Nope or Dope. Mark, I can't go to you first. Sure I can. It's my game. I'm fucking going to you first. If I said Nope or Dope on something and I called it a sushi butt, would you have any idea what I'm talking about?
A sushi butt?
Yeah. Do you drink sushi?
No, never have.
Do you eat sushi?
The only thing I can think about when you say that is like when I've never had this, I've never gone to one of these parties, but you have a person who's naked that has sushi on them.
Okay.
And then I don't know.
Wow.
No, yes. Nope or dope on that, Mark. Are you nope or dope on that?
That's big nope
Okay.
for me.
I'll go to you, Bill.
I'm nope on what Mark just said.
Yes, good. We all are. Well, not all of us. No, what I'm saying is I order sushi all the time and you get these beautiful rolls. And then there's the end caps. And on the end caps, they got the little shrimp tail sticking out sometimes. It's been fried and they tend to cut it. So it's almost like, it's like 1 1.5 regular sushi bites. And I got to get that thing all the way in my mouth and pull out the tail. Like, come on, am I the only one who experiences this? The sushi butt. Bill, do you have a nope or dope? Thumbs up, thumbs down on this? And explain.
I would have to say nope, mainly because I'm not a huge sushi fan. I will eat like a spicy tuna roll, but that's about as far as I go.
Okay.
Other than
All
that,
right.
my wife loves it. I mean, she's probably the more sushi, the better. So bigger pieces would be fine with it.
Ask her next time you're hanging out what she thinks about the end cap on the sushi roll.
I
Chad.
love the sushi butt.
I'll let you know.
I'm totally dope. Oh yeah, because you get especially when you have like a deep fried piece of shrimp in there.
That's usually what it is.
And there's a bunch of extra sticking out.
Do you eat
Brooke
the tail?
always leaves me the ends. No, you don't eat the tail. You leave the tail there, but you get more meat.
Pick it up with the tail, I would guess.
Those pieces are always wide too.
Did you hear Bill? Did you hear Bill? What a rookie sushi guy. He's like, pick it up with the tail. That shit will fall all over your plate. Justin, the butt.
It must not be wrapped well.
For the same reason Chad says, you get a little bit more out of it.
Okay. Amanda's into it. I knew Amanda'd be into it. Next nope or dope.
She's more adventurous than I.
Amanda, there you are.
Wait, is she really on right now?
I thought that was a live shot. It probably is a live shot.
No.
The security thing online, the trying to prove that you're not a robot, Bill, and it says choose between these 9 squares, right? Which one of these is a bridge or a sign or a school bus? Nope or dope on this, and why?
Nope. I hate them. If somebody has a solution as to how to do what you want to do and avoid them, that would be wonderful. I often try to decide if if what I'm getting ready to do is something I really want to do, because I have just abandoned what I was getting ready to do. Like if I'm going to go in and buy something from somewhere and they have one of those, screw it, I'm not going to do it.
Okay, Mark.
Stop
Hey, next no per dope rule. No Retireholics group chat in the middle of a fucking show.
I'm like, you just caught up. There was 75 text
I know,
messages exchanged
Chad. No per
This
dope.
is not a
Wait, hold on.
Retireholics group chat.
I'm not getting
This
any
is-
Retireholics
Right,
group chat.
exactly.
What's going on?
There's some crazy shit going on. Is all I can say. I don't fucking understand what's happening.
Do we get a printout of this after the show? So
I don't
can
know.
go back and read it, because I haven't been.
I don't
able
know
to
what's
keep up.
happening. I don't know
All
what's
I've
happening.
seen is Miss Amanda keeps saying that I'm lame. So
Chad, no per dope on the robot. Wants to know if you're a robot or not.
I'm dope. I'm in.
What?
You like the security.
I like the comfort, the security. I'm in.
Okay, I'm gonna skip
Not
this
for
one for you
to
too.
the page.
Mark, I'm gonna go straight to you on no per dope 3-in-1 shampoo. You know, it's shampoo, it's conditioner, it's body wash. Is this a good thing or not? Do you have COVID, by the way? What's going on?
No, I don't know. My wife and my son lost their voices, and now I feel like I might be or something. I don't know. They anyways. All I can say is this. Okay. If 3-in-1 soap can clean all things, then for many, many years, we were being sold a bunch of bullshit that you had to have different soap for your body, different soap for your face, and different soap for your hair. So if you can combine all of them, then we've just been lied to and money's been stolen from us from all these years. So I'm just going to say nope, because I don't want to think that I've wasted my money on separate soap types for the entirety of my life. So no.
Fair enough.
No.
Well, do you realize you don't actually have to spend money on a robe either, right? I mean,
I
so
don't.
They've been lying to you
Bill,
about that too.
Bill, I don't.
Pinnacle's on
I
there,
don't.
Bill. Pinnacle's a contributor
Bill.
to his robe.
You pay him for that robe. You're on his robe in a patch.
Oh wow. Oh,
Yes,
my
and I
gosh.
would like to point out
JD
very specifically that Amanda sent the patch, and Amanda's a family friend of the show. To
Are we
anybody
paying
who
you?
doesn't
Are we
think
paying you
that.
revenue sharing now?
Amanda. It's bad to ask Chad and
wow.
Justin this question because I don't know how their opinion
No,
could be
hey,
of any value.
I mean-
But go ahead, Chad.
My opinion is this, because Justin made fun of me for this a couple of years ago. I have never once used any face soap either. I've not had hair for 20 years. Whatever I use on my body goes on my head. It covers my face. It's everything. Whereas people use different things to clean doesn't matter. I'm using one soap and it is everywhere.
Okay. Just make sure you go to your face before you go to your butt. Justin, yes or no on the 3-in-1?
3-in-1, no. I mean, it's not necessary for me by any means.
Okay. Last
But-
one. And we'll
Wait.
go ahead.
So you mean you like 3-in-1 or you don't like 3-in-1?
No, I don't like 3-in-1. It's not necessary for me.
So yeah, you want multiple products then.
Well, no, I only need one product really. I guess kind of two. I have to.
So then
exfoliate
you're
the
saying
head.
it's dope then. So 3-in-1 is dope then, right? Because you
No.
like it.
I don't need it.
Am I misunderstanding the rules of the game here?
think
No,
you
you're
might be.
doing. You're doing.
But Bill, by the way, you've taken JD's role in this game.
I love
so this
it.
is great.
I
Love
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Love it. Did I ask Bill? I'll ask Bill. Sorry. You're just saying
Oh. I'm
you're
dope with it. Sure.
you're
Yeah,
dope
I've got a product I use and it just goes all
you know
over.
what's, you know what's odd
I'm
is
fine with
when someone's wearing a bow tie and they go, "I'm dope with it." Weird
Yeah.
combo. I'm not even gonna
I
go on the
promise
last.
I'm not a narc, I promise.
I'm not gonna go on the last one. The last one was gonna be sober October, but we're running out of time, and everybody knows that that's fucking nope. Okay, Chad. We talked about this a long time ago. I know my wife's sober right now. Mark's sober. Chad, everyone's sober around. Brandon's fucking sober right
Mark
now.
doesn't look sober
What?
right now.
Chat bar.
Sorry, Jeff.
Brandon, your producer that you love and know and care about is sober in October.
But Brandon, in Vegas, does the sober time kind of stop?
no.
Yep, it freezes. It
It
absolutely
stays.
does.
Yeah, Vegas doesn't count for
There's
you
no way
can't
Brandon
be
can go to
in
Vegas.
Vegas.
What
Yeah.
happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, huh?
It
Chad,
I'm
doesn't
gonna be
at all.
cleaning up his puke again.
several weeks ago, I came out with a headline that Jeff Bezos at Amazon was, or Amazon as a company led by Jeff Bezos, was going to give $60 million, I believe, to their kind of distributors, these companies they had partnered with that are the ones driving all this shit to our houses every day. But it came with some rules, and I want to, can you set up this conversation for everyone listening in? Because you came to me and said, JD, we have some clients that are of this category. And the way that you had designed the plans for them, you and the advisor partner, meant that they weren't actually, it didn't make sense for them to partake in this $60 million. And I thought that was really, really interesting. And I think everyone would like to hear a bit about this.
Yeah, the very brief background here is that Amazon came out and they have what they call these delivery service providers, which are all the groups, the individuals driving stuff to our house, as you're saying. And they came out and said $60 million to cover matching and expenses of the retirement plans that these, I'm trying not to use the acronym, that these delivery service provider companies are offering to their employees.
How cool, right? Like, what a great headline.
Awesome. Like, love it. And as I make this comment and as we talk through this topic, let me really quickly state, love what they're trying to do. Bridge the coverage gap, get access to these people, get them in the plan, talk to these delivery service provider owners and have them invest in their employees. 100% on board for all of that. But I picked a segment of the clients that we're helping, which are, most of them are 140, 150 employees. Lots of tons of turnover. Many people last, 90 days, 6 months, and then they leave. Low income drivers going back and forth from location to location. And many of these clients of ours came to us and said, we want to do this. We want to take advantage of what Amazon is offering us and get the kickback from them to cover our matching costs and to cover our plan expenses. And I slowed them down for a second and I said, well, let's realize what we're doing here, because part of Amazon's requirements are that you have to have eligibility after 180 days. You have to have auto enroll in the plan, and you have to be 100% invested after 18 months in order for them to cover the match and to cover the expenses.
These full-time, part-time exclusions?
No, everybody has to be eligible after 180 days.
Dang.
These are their stipulations to
get Amazon's money. Again, wonderful for the right business that fits for this. But many of our clients are these service providers that have, when you use 1 year, 1,000 hours and semi-annual entry, they've got 12 employees.
It keeps a ton of them out.
They've got 13 employees. They're avoiding an audit by using proper eligibility restrictions. They're targeting the key people that lead to the success of their company. And we have safe harbor set up for them, and we have profit sharing set up for them. And they're heavily funding these plans to the starting with 10 and maybe 20 people that are sticking around out of this. And I just had to slow them down and say, I get it. You want them to cover the cost of your match? Well, they can't cover the cost of the match that we're talking about. Their matching covers, if you're contributing 4%, they cover 2. They cover dollar for dollar on the first one, 50 cents on the next 2, 25 on the next 1, and then 4. So they're covering 2% if you contribute 4%. That's what Amazon will cover of your matching costs. So it's not enough to cover their safe harbor. And so all I did is say, this is wonderful, but you need to look at your individual situation. Is this right for you? And I got a heap of backlash when these conversations started coming out, because this is a great thing. Why would you stop businesses from taking advantage of that? And I said, I'm not stopping them. I'm just educating them on what is right for their business, because not everybody is going to fit into this structure. And kudos to Amazon, but there are many businesses that aren't going to benefit from this.
That's weird, Bill, right? Did you pick up on all that? And
well, I mean, you've always got to look at what the catch is to whatever somebody's offering you to do. And even if you fit within that and you accept it the first year, how long is it going to last? Are they going to do it again the next year? Are they not? I mean, are you going to ramp up what you're doing and
change everything?
Yeah, in order to accommodate it, and then it doesn't happen a year later or something like that. So there are always catches that come with free money.
What did I say to you, Chad? What did I say to you on the phone though when you're explaining that to me? I was saying like, well, yeah, Chad, like I'm sure some of the decision makers that sat around that table didn't understand what you're talking about, that was going to impact that. But what they did understand was
Yeah, why
to
should
get this 60 million, we want these plans to be equitable in a certain way. You know, there needs to be a balance between the non-Hollies and the Holly. And these are the rules. These are the hoops you need to go through. So God bless them for that. Like I don't think
100%. They weren't trying to target the owners and the executives and the long-term employees like we are. They were looking at this saying, these are good, hardworking folks that are driving from location to location, and we want to help benefit them.
100%. And
Chad, do most of these, I know because you're the one that primarily works with all these guys, do they have, you know, employees that or a team that can actually handle all of that process, or are they all varying in sizes?
No, they don't. It's the delivery service provider ownership, and they have one usually warehouse manager. But they're wearing multiple hats. These folks are, and honestly, many of them are super young. They came out of an Amazon delivery center. They saw an opportunity. Amazon sells these locations. They say, okay, you get 50 square miles to open up your delivery service provider location because we have enough volume there to justify it. And then they sell another 50 miles to another individual DSP is what they're called. And there's a shit ton of them out there, and they're all very different. And Bill, to your point, the access to this, the amount of time people need to be employed, and I misspoke, it's 90 days. The amount of time people need to be employed.
That's a big difference.
And the auto enroll and the setup of this, it's going to create so much back and forth operationally that the client is going to fail. The client's going to fail, and it has to be with one of their approved providers. The client's going to fail to operate this plan.
Right.
And it's going to lead to going through the voluntary compliance program. It's going to lead to fines. It's going to lead to issues. And that's what I think, JD, to your point. Yeah, the merit was there. The goal was there. The heart was there of what they were trying to do. They just didn't properly, in my point of view, much like many of the state mandates, they didn't consult with the people that understand the business deeply.
There would have been a better way.
How can we better use this 60 million?
I believe that Bezos, not that he's involved, but wants people to get that 60 million. They did it. It was such a great intention, but there was a better way to organize it. So anyways, that was cool because I presented that as this great headline. Hooray. You know, look at this, look what's happening. Employers are wanting to like do some great stuff for their partners. And Chad called me a few days later and was like, this is a clusterfuck and it's not working for a lot of our clients. So I wanted to share that with everyone because I thought that would be interesting. So thanks, Chad, for that. Yeah. Chat bar, I agree with some of the comments in there. It's been a solid chat bar tonight, Robe Guy. Like I feel like they've been falling asleep the last few weeks, and maybe they just needed everyone back in form, Chad and Justin and what have you. But it's popping off in the chat bar. So let's get to it, shall we? Justin, who's your vote for chat bar champion? And you can't choose
Tony Davis.
Tony Davis, fucking A. Yep. I made the mistake this morning, everybody. Tony Davis called me on my way to work, and I answered that fucking call. Son of a bitch. Mark, who's your vote for chat bar champion?
I'm going with Jim Sampson again. I think this is the second week in a row that I voted for him, and a lot of it, obviously, all night doing great. But he just said that he left dinner and came back to the chat bar. That's dedication.
That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong.
I'm going to vote for Daniela, but I want a public service announcement real quick. Like, if Tony, I just gave you shit, told you fuck you in the chat bar. If you haven't figured this out over the last 8 years or however long it's been, if I'm cussing at you and calling you names and making fun of you, Amanda, it just means you're part of my crew. Look at Chad, that fucking dipshit. I give him shit all the time. Bill, who's your vote for chat bar champion?
I got to tell you, I wasn't paying that close attention to it.
You fucking dumb shit. All right, Chad, you go.
But I am going to vote for Tony.
All right, second vote for Tony. Fair enough.
For me, JD, it was one comment, and it was at the very end, which is that Amazon should open a pooled employer plan, and it was Elizabeth Heffernan.
That's nice.
It made me laugh out loud.
Elizabeth, bad advice, but very nice. You know who should have got in
Genius
there?
advice.
I feel like Sampo should have got in there, but
Do you know, Chad,
Mark
it
Davis
wouldn't,
Sampo.
Chad, it wouldn't be a pooled
Oh,
employer
Sampo's
plan.
in?
It would be a prime employer plan. Just know that.
Cute.
okay.
I love it,
Sampo's
Mark.
in. Did you
Total
get
dad
that
joke.
sober boy over there? We got Daniela, we got Sampo, we got Tony. He's got it.
And Elizabeth Heffernan. He's on it.
He's on it. He's sober
You
October.
should really let us vote. I don't understand why we can't.
You know what's going to be a bummer is when we're in Vegas to not look over and see Brandon behind his producer desk with his red fucking eyes, bloodshot, like hungover.
Oh, it's
Sweaty,
gonna
happen.
drinking
It's
Pedialyte.
So hopefully everybody's going to go
Whoa.
to my stand-in and see Miss Amanda.
Oh yeah,
in
we
the
are. We're
Hive
coming to the Hive, bro.
Monday
We're coming to
afternoon
the Hive.
and Tuesday afternoon. So she's going to be there. I really
Are you
appreciate
pitching
her
shit? Are you
taking
pitching
my
shit
time.
on my
I
show right now?
absolutely am.
What the
I
fuck?
bought advertising. I bought advertising on your show. It looks like on the road, so I should get
Fair
a
enough.
couple of call outs.
Oh, look at Sampo's running away with it, huh? Sampo, the winner of Chapter Champion. I do not believe. Yes.
In front of everybody, JD, do we have a show next week?
Do we have? Yeah, we have a show next week. Yeah.
Dude, we're
Filming like
No.
4.
Actually, I don't know if
You'll
we're
be home
stream-
from Vegas and you won't be left for DC
Yeah.
yet. Why would you
I-
not have a show?
I also think we're going to try to stream shows from the Vegas floor. So
yeah.
when thanks. That was actually a perfect segue. Everyone, we are heading to Las Vegas on Sunday. All the Retireholics. Come say hi to us if you're there at the Wealth at Work conference. We won't be hard to miss. Like we won't be hard to miss. Yeah, that's right. We'll be in a big corner. It sounds wrong. You can't miss us. Come say hi. We've got some games to play. We've got a fridge. We got a brand new little setup that will be very reminiscent of what you're seeing behind you here. And we'd love to say hi and chat, talk some 401k with you. We're going to have Kush on the show as a guest.
Yeah.
We're going to have Jeannie Sutton, formerly known as Jeannie Fisher, the hashtag 401k lady, on the show. And we're going to have Jeffrey Atchison on the show as a guest. And so, yes.
Make him wear a light up bow tie.
I'll give it a shot. So yeah, that's where we're going next. And I think Brandon will try to stream some of that shit as I look over nervously at Brandon. Brandon says this, Brandon goes, I don't know. So maybe. And, but otherwise, yeah, Mark, we'll have a show on Thursday night. Everyone, thanks for tuning in to another Retireholics. You know, we love you. We know we love you. Watch this. You want to see how much I love you, everyone? Tuning in. You fucking dipshits. I love you. And thanks to you, Bill, for being our guest.
Glad to be here.
Thanks to showing me what a bow tie looks like when it's untied. That's all.
Never thought I would see Bill without a bow tie.
Nope or dope on
I
that.
still have it. It's just, yeah.
Whoa,
And,
whoa,
hey,
Bill. Whoa,
buddy-
this is a family show.
Buddy, honestly, best of luck to your wife and her
Thank you very
recovery
much.
and the medical attention she's getting.
Yeah.
So we will all be
Appreciate it.
thinking about you for that. Justin, Chad, it's great to have you back in your fold out chairs there. Like it's awesome to have you guys back. And we'll hit an after show, Bill. You don't have to stick around, but if you want to, we're gonna
Appreciate it.
talk
Yeah,
about.
I do have to go down for dinner, but I appreciate it.
Perfect. We'll talk a bunch of
Thanks,
shit
guys.
about you then.
That'll be fine.
And it's been another episode. See ya, everybody. Yeah, fuck. I'm going to
See
bed.
y'all in DC. Thanks, guys.
Uh,
See you, Bill.
See you,
See you in
Bill. See
DC.
ya.
Thank you.
Play us some music, Brandon.